Yeah. Now, good. Now. Sige, this is it, and this is the moment. And please listen very carefully sa minister head first, minister head nga mag-present sa iyahang ministries and of course sa sub-ministries in some areas. Because usa day sa ako nalimutan nga, it doesn't mean kung mag-volunteer ka ani nga ministry, doesn't mean nga ani na medyo ka forever. Oo, dili ako kita. Mapupunta yung patanong, why forever? Wala pa pa sa mga ma-entice na dyan ka or ma-dili na dyan ka magpabilig ng ministry. Napadagan ministries ko. If you feel nga malipayon ka ang mga ministry, then of course, makapanagin ka sa ministry head, kaya na commit ka. And of course, masulti ka that you will transfer or mag-volunteer ka sa lahing ministry. Ang una nga ministry head, of course, nga mag-present sa ministry nga siya sa Ginoo niya through ECC is makasulti po nga proven na ang iyang faithfulness o iyang commitment sa work of ministry. Ano na kayo ko since 2010, sa diyan nga nag-volunteer ko first sa church and with Pastor Eddie dito sa Katawan, naa na siya diri sa church. Dugay-dugay na handling this ministry. And dili ko sulti hangtod nga naka, of course na niagi ko sa iya hagiagian nga dili po sa yun. Pero makita nato nga he was of course blessed by the Lord and God provided him a wife, a partner, and of course a blessing from the Lord happened. So without further ado, I call on Brother Benji for the worship.
Thank you, Pastor, for the kind introduction. Pero pasaylo nga, dili ko mubalhit kayo. Barod ko ba, equal na na ba? No, maguwag na po ninyo gamay sa inyong height. At lang ko dili sa baba para sa kaputi kabutakan. Okay, once again, good afternoon, ministry partners. Good afternoon. Alright. So, mo na gitawag ng mo ministry partners because you will know later why I called you as ministry partners. But before I start, I would like to commend Pastor JR for his leadership and for a job well done in leading the worship ministry and to the rest of the worship team volunteers and for initiating this ministry fair. Some churches use the term volunteer fair, no? But here in our church we call it ministry fair or ministries fair. So actually this is the second time that we have this ministries fair. The first one was held last February 2014 and followed by the Volunteers Forum with Pastor Ronald for the last 2 years. And dili noon siya frequent nga ay Volunteers Forum or Volunteers Fellowship na mga pangamustahay sa mga volunteers for 5 pillars of ministry. And for your information, this month marks the 2nd year of Pastor JR as worship ministry head. So how about the big hand for Pastor JR? After I passed the baton and he took over last September 2014. Right. And I am grateful that he was able, and I believe he is always able to lead whatever ministry that the leadership and of course God will entrust to him. And maybe some of you are asking why I'm the one who will speak for the worship ministry. And I believe that volunteers or ministry partners like you ought to know what is happening with our church ministries. So allow me to speak ahead with the leadership board. Because starting next month, October, the beginning of the last quarter of this year, the reorganization of Pillar Ministry together with the person in charge will take effect. So I will be, again, the leadership board decided that I will head lead the worship ministry starting October. And with me, with my assistant is Miss Candice Adlawan. Which wala siya karon kay doon siya sa Bukod. And Pastor JR will be the discipleship ministry head. And outreach, Pastor Mel, and prayer, we still need some confirmation for the prayer ministry. And admin and finance, this will be lead by Pastor Verbs Kapatingan, and his assistant is Ma'am Atisosan Reyes. Okay, so right, last kayo itong introduction. But let me start since I was asked to speak for the worship ministry. Let me start with the mission and vision of ACC. If you still remember, can you still remember the mission? Who can memorize? Mission to make, since Pastor JR. Pastor JR.
Disciples will read the word, and to watch the word, and influence the world for Christ.
Right, that's it. So the mission of our church is to make disciples who live the word, give towards the word, and influence the world for Christ. So, tanawan niya to make disciples who live the word, give towards the word, and influence the world for Christ. How about the vision? Let's check. Vision. What's the vision? Mga staff, volunteers.
Towards the reproducing
Yes.
church.
Towards
The reproducing.
a
Reproducing church.
reproducing church that sumpay. Ano na yung sumpay? That models
Intentional disciple making.
intentional disciple making. Okay. Towards a reproducing church that models intentional disciple making. Okay, with that in mind, volunteers are people with whom we do ministry. That's why I called you ministry partners. Okay, you have missed the point. Maybe that's the answer to the question why we're here. Why are you here? Why we have this ministries fair? Right? So you have missed the point if you will ask, how do we get more volunteers rather than how do we make more disciples? Right? So when a church has a healthy ministry, it will naturally produce healthy volunteers. A church that struggles to identify and empower volunteers probably struggles in the discipleship area as well. Because discipleship and volunteerism are connected. So volunteerism and discipleship, let me ask you, which comes first? Volunteerism or discipleship? Discipleship. Kinsa nagsulti og discipleship? Raise your hand. Oh, gamay lang. So meaning, ang uban, volunteerism. Kinsa mo ingon volunteerism? Ang naguna.
Or sila or.
Ha? Or. My answer is both. Why? Because healthy volunteers are growing in their relationship with God, right? And people who are growing in their relationship with God naturally desire to serve. So, when I heard Pastor JR said nga one of the latest job description or saan na siya tawag na assignment that Pastor Ronald i-appoint siya as mauna siya he was appointed lately during their last meeting. He was appointed as volunteer coordinator. And next month he will be the discipleship ministry head. And I said, wow, I think that's really intentional because volunteerism and discipleship will work together hand in hand. If the same person lang mas mapalingon na niya, of course, kung nasa yung core group or mga sub-leaders, they will work hand in hand to produce a healthy ministry that functions for the benefit of the body and to glorify God. So volunteerism and discipleship. So how do we measure our effectiveness on this matter? Like for example, if our church attendance is increasing, but there is no increase in volunteerism, naghuot na tadya, nagkuwang na ato mga lingkuranan, pero tanawan ninyo karon, tunga lang or 1/4 naman siguro mo sa attendance during Sunday service, right?